Nader, who is the Strategic Affairs Director for the Levant Institute. He is in Beirut. Welcome to you, Sami. Just looking at what we've witnessed today, a really, really strong military response from Israel. It was described by the correspondent there in Sanaa as the most extreme military activity that they witnessed in this so far ongoing conflict. Do you think that the Israeli motivation here is to intimidate the Houthis, to try and deter them from continuing their attacks? Do you see it as an attack upon the public there, to try and turn their opinion, or is this the start of a full-blown conflict? Where do you see this going?
The scale of the military operation doesn't show that this is a gesture only for intimidation. However, it's not sure that these types of military operation can deter the Houthi, who showed a great level of resilience lately, but definitely it will push more and more people into famine and despair, especially after the bombing of the Hodeidah port, through which 80% of Yemen, already impoverished, 80% of its imports are coming through this port. But the important thing here that this military operation propel the whole region into an escalation track or dynamic. Firstly, because Israel is putting in perspective not only the Houthi threat, but Iran behind the Houthi. And this has to be as well put into perspective with the diverging approach recently, or the diverging position between Israel on one side and the United States on one side, on how to approach the negotiation with Iran. So these negotiations today are going through a critical moment. It is practically a stalemate, which is once more pushing the whole region into a possibility of broadening war. And secondly, Israel is signaling that Iran is the real responsible, because it is the provider and the supporter of the Houthi, and without Iran's support, the Houthi could not pose such a big military threat.
Once again, we see civilians bearing the brunt of Israel's attacks. It's just like we've seen in Gaza. Here it's the food supply coming in, 80% of food imports coming through the port that has been attacked. It's energy facilities, it's water facilities. Why is Israel once again not looking at military installations, not looking at weapons storage sites? Why is it attacking things that will hurt the public more than anyone?
Yes, once more, it's the civilians who are paying the price, either in Gaza or in Yemen. In Gaza, we have seen that all the conditions of a proper life, life with dignity, are totally absent, namely after the destruction of all the civilian infrastructure, including hospital, water, and electricity. The conditions for the minimum condition of a decent life are not there yet. Plus what's happening in Yemen. Yemen is one of the most impoverished countries on the world. The humanitarian crisis after this war that started practically 14 years ago. It started the war in Yemen in 2011, propelling more than 80% of the Yemeni people under the line of poverty. And this is one of the biggest challenges to humanitarian organization, including the United Nations. What we're seeing there is an entire population, especially after the bombing of Hodeidah, on the verge of a real famine.
Now, Sami, we've had reports coming in just the last few hours, and this is supposedly coming from Donald Trump himself. He revealed today that the Houthis, he claims, have informed him directly that they do not want to fight anymore. This is as a consequence of today's Israeli airstrikes. He says they don't want to fight anymore. We will honour that and we will stop the bombings. He says that the Houthis have capitulated. Now, I mean, that's a surprising development if that turns out to be true from everything we've heard come out of Yemen.
Is a surprising statement, but I don't think that the American president said it naively. I think the objective here is to show that there is a room of a deal, a settlement with the Houthi and with Iran. We all know that the negotiations that are taking place with Iran do not focus on one key element, despite the statement of the Iranian official, and which is a nuclear issue. It has actually, these negotiations are focusing on two additional important subjects. One is the missile program, and third, Iran proxies in the region, starting with Houthi. The Houthi question is quite important, not only because this is the only important and substantial military asset Iran has in the region, especially after the military degradation of Hamas and the decapitation and the military degradation as well of Hezbollah. In addition, the Houthi operation in the Red Sea pose a substantial threat on international trade, and it is causing inflation, which is a very important issue for Donald Trump today. So it's crucial for him to try and to strike a deal with the Houthi in order to calm all this military warfare into the Red Sea that whose consequences are very serious and very grave to international economy and to the American economy in this very particular moment.
Sami, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate your time and analysis. Sami Nader, who is the Strategic Affairs Director at the Levant Institute. Thank you.